シルビー、ヘリうるさい。はーい、今出るわ。およ、大荷物だね。
Could you not drag me?
男一人持ってくなんて大荷物だこと。あら、借りるわ。壊さないよう返すんだよ。
Silvie ended up dragging me along, and we somehow ended up airborne in her helicopter. Every day is tough when you tag along with royalty.
申し訳ない。シルビー様はあまりわがままはおっしゃらないのですが、一度言い出すと急に頑固で。
まあ何もする予定がないようでしたら、移動中のおしゃべりの相手になるくらいよろしいじゃありませんの。
Yeah, I guess it's fine. I had been asleep until half an hour ago, and now I was flying through the sky. This whiplash from highs to lows was enough to make me dizzy in various senses.
ありがとう、オーラ。お礼と言ってはなんだけど、お昼ご飯は何でもごちそうするわ。何が食べたい？
In that case, treat me to something outstanding that even royalty has a tough time getting their hands on. That'll make my eyeballs pop out of my head.
さらっと強欲ですわね。
It doesn't cost anything just to suggest, after all. If I phrased it that way, then I'd probably get to try something much more impressive than some high-grade sushi or massive steak.
難しいわね。キャビア、フォアグラ、トリュフなんかは食べ飽きておりますし、単純に一番おいしいもの。メロンパンは日本人のオーロは驚かないわよね。難問ですわ。
The princesses were stumped. Maybe I had been a little mean and I should just concede to eating sushi, but I bet if I kept quiet I'd get to eat something I ordinarily never would.
僭越ながら、
何かある？
私が以前とある国に国防関連の話し合いに行った時出されたものが条件に当てはまるかと。
Oh, what was it like?
面白そうですわね。
Elsan seemed like quite the upper-class lady herself, so this gave me high hopes.
はい。猿の脳みそです。頭を器にして出されて、私も目が飛び出るほど驚きましたし、猿の目玉も飛び出ていました。
Sushi! Please go with sushi! Sushi's tasty.
気に入ってくれてよかった。
Following their interview, I had them treat me to sushi for lunch. And although I called it lunch, it was already past 2. It was past 4 by the time we made it back into town. I can't believe we went all the way to Aomori in such a short time.
大間のマグロ、確かに大変な美味でしたわ。日本は料理が侮れませんわね。エル、落ち込んでる？
申し訳ありません。恥ずかしいところを。
The boss sure was shocked when you spat it out all of a sudden.
食べたのは魚肉のはずなのに、口の中で溶けるような感じがしてつい。
She was apparently surprised by the tuna's mouthfeel. Advertisements would often note how some foods would melt in your mouth, but the sensation was quite bizarre once you experienced it firsthand. It was almost like eating gel.
まあ、とにかく。どうだったかしら、オーロ。今日一日いただいちゃった形になったけれど、満足してもらえた？
Absolutely. Thanks for everything, Silvie. It had cost me a full day trip to earn this high-class sushi. But in the end, I got to eat something truly incredible. For that matter, getting to fly around in a helicopter with 3 gorgeous women was a pretty sweet deal.
豚のお返しはできたみたいね。
It feels very disproportionate if you ask me. This was actually my first time having non-rotating sushi. That's what it's like?
回らない寿司？
Yeah.
逆説的ですが、日本には回転するお寿司があるのですか？
Yeah. What do you think that means?
お寿司がくるくる回るということ？でも今日食べたものも回るといえば回るわよね。あの小ささだし、切り分ける前のマグロは大きすぎて回りそうにないけれど。
市松殿の話からするに、回転する寿司というのはいささか安物を指すようです。今日のような希少品であれば回して遊ぶわけにはいきませんが、逆にくるくる回して食べる安物があるということでは。
お姉様、エロいな。甘いですわね。これは言葉遊びというものですわ。ズバリ、回るとはお寿司ではなくお客。客が回りながら食べねばならないお寿司屋さんがあるのですわ。なるほど。
Definitely the sort of idea a ballerina like Mina-chan would come up with.
でしょう。
You're all wrong. Look, that's what I was talking about. I pointed toward the shop we just so happened to pass by.
こっぱ寿司？
あら、看板に書いてありますわね。回転寿司チェーン。回転寿司というお寿司があるの？
It means it's served on a conveyor belt. You pick it up as it goes around and eat it. Elsan was right in that it was cheap though.
ああ、面白そう。うぬぬ。我々まだまだ日本のことは勉強不足のようですわ。
Well, yeah, one of the top 5 questions commoners love to ask celebrities is if they've heard of conveyor belt sushi, so this would make for a valuable experience.
ちょっと寄っていきましょうか。お腹が空いたわ。
Hey, Silvie! There she goes. To reiterate, it was a little past 4 o'clock and we just had lunch 2 hours prior. She's hungry?
お姉様の胃袋なら仕方ありませんわ。
困ったものです。今夜は夕飯をどうするか未定なのでいいのですが。
あら、
What's up? She came back, sounding frustrated.
話が違うじゃない。お寿司全然回ってないわ。
Huh?
なんですの？ゲロ、嘘をつきましたの？
Who would lie about something like that? What was going on? I peeked in through the window. Ah, I get it. There was a conveyor belt in this shop, but the sushi itself wasn't revolving. Instead, the revolving carousel contained photos of their offerings, which allowed customers to order what they wanted to eat electronically. I guess conveyor belt sushi isn't nearly as popular as it used to be, and they don't put the food on the carousel directly anymore. Food would eventually dry out and become inedible, so everything was made to order. Most of their clientele would be during peak meal times, so there was no reason to put out food when it was only 4 in the afternoon. It's sad to think about, but conveyor belt sushi will probably disappear in the next 10 years or so. I'm glad I could joke about celebrities getting asked about conveyor belt sushi while it was still relevant.
なぜおじいちゃんみたいな顔してますの？
わかりません。
Our conversation continued until we made it back to the dorm. Mina-chan returned to her room, leaving the 3 of us alone.
どうせだからお夕飯も一緒していい？
If that's okay with you.
了解しました。そのように。
Elsan likely had to notify someone from the estate and made a phone call. And then?
ういっす。あ、シルビーいたんだ。ええ、朝からオールをお借りしちゃったわ。
We had another guest. I bet she was going to join us for dinner too. But it still wasn't even 5 o'clock. That was a little early for dinner, so the 4 of us killed time together.
今日はどんな仕事してきたの？
Yeah, I'm curious about that too. What was the deal with that interview today? Before we flew to Aomori, Silvie had spent around half an hour talking to this reporter-looking person at some hotel. It sounded more like a conversation than an interview, especially when there was another party present and they were prattling on about nothing. Additionally, her conversation partner was not what I was expecting. Who was that older man?
おっさん？
It was some old guy they brought on with them. Well, I say he's old, but he's probably middle age. Even if she were to have a conversation with an older man, it would have made sense if he'd been dressed in a proper suit or had a more refined air to him. However, he looked like he had walked straight out of some factory.
私の恩人よ。確かにもうおじいさまってお年だったけれど、これを作ってる工場の技師さん。
She retrieved something from inside the bag she'd had Elsan carry. It looked like some sort of tool. It was made from iron and had a bent tip with a hole at the end that could be used as a ratchet.
ああ、調律用のハンマー。愛用品よ。
A piano tool, huh?
これを作ってらっしゃる工場の職人さん。愛用品なのだけど、メイドインジャパンなの。それで技師さんにお会いできないかって思って、今日はお時間をいただいたというわけ。
A tradesman?
対談は後で文章にも起こされますが、映像としても撮ってあるので、この後編集したものが送られてきます。今日は日本では職人の方々をねぎらう日だそうで、それに合わせた形ですね。
勤労感謝スペシャルってことか。
Let me see. Silvie handed me the device. Although I'd heard of them, I'd never held a tuning hammer before. It had a wooden handle with a hole at the end of the metallic shaft. How does it work again? You put the screw that tugs on the piano string through this hole to adjust it?
簡単に言うとね、ほらここを見て。
She gestured toward the metal hole at the end of the instrument. I could tell the cavity was octagonal.
ここで四角いチューニングピンを噛んで固定して弦の高さを調整していくのだけれど、その時ここがどれだけ正確に四角形であるかが大事なの。普通のハンマーは型があって鋳造で作ることがほとんどなんだけれど、この製品はなんと細い刀でちょっとずつ形を削いで成形していくのよ。ミリ単位で切り揃えていくことで誤差 0.01 ミリの形が出来上がるというわけ。
Casting can cause metal to swell and contract, so the sphere generally has to deal with about a full millimeter margin of error, right?
正直それでもいいんだけどね。チューニングするには誤差1ミリくらいはありだから。でも実際にこっちを使ってみると全然グラグラしないから癖になっちゃって、もう元のハンマーには戻れないわ。何よりこの精密なハンマーで調整したと思うと音に自信が出てピアノを気持ちよく弾けるようになるの。今では私の自信っていうか、皆さんにおすすめしたいですね。もう手放せません。
I decided to ignore the fact that last bit sounded straight out of a TV shopping program. Most importantly,
シルビーって自分で調律するんだね。
yeah, aren't there people trained to tune pianos professionally? That caught my interest. Compared to a guitar, pianos are a huge hassle to tune since they have around 200 or so strings. I've also heard it's rare for anyone to do it themselves.
詳しいですね。
Just because I know someone who plays guitar.
そうね。ピアノの調律を演奏者本人がやることはあまりないわ。技術的なこともあるけど、ピアノの静音はどうしても機材のある調律師さんに頼るから、普段の調律も任せないと信頼関係に響くしね。
That was another way of looking at it, one I hadn't foreseen.
でもやっぱり私は自分でやるのが好きなの。自分で締めた弦の張りや遊びの方が演奏していて楽しいから。おー、なんかプロの意見っぽい。
技術的な観点からもシルビー様は並の調律師よりよほど優れておられるとのことです。経験も音感もですね。
Sense of pitch. that reminded me. Do you have a perfect pitch, Silvie? She replied nonchalantly.
おお、
Oh!
なに二人とも。
Don't worry about it. Perfect pitch gives Japanese people this strangely romantic impression.
貴様のリズムを理解した。この能力が支配する。
What? Ugh, my body won't move.
踊れ、パーフェクトピッチ。
Gwa! Impossible. Not after I've mastered dark matter.
ダークマター、恐ろしい敵だった。
みたいな。
Like I said, don't worry about it. Perfect pitch, dark matter, perfect memory, and lucid dreaming, the aesthetics of these terms, would provoke anyone's delusions of grandeur.
あ、ねえねえシルビー。
Rena patted the floor.
今のは
レのフラット。なぜ絶対音感があるというと、みんな同じことをするのかしら。
That's awesome. Perfect pitch, huh?
別にすごいことではないわ。訓練で誰でも得られることだし、結局演奏に使うのは相対音感だけよ。
I have heard that. Something like how perfect pitch is useless for getting a grasp of the acoustics of a venue or the instrument you are playing. But still, perfect pitch, like this, is more potent, yeah?
字面で勝ってるよね。
Yeah.
二人ともよくわからないわ。
She forced a smile.
あ、というかオーロ、あなたにはこのこと昔話したはずよ。
Huh?
昔どんな音でも音階でわかるって何度も説明したわ。覚えてないのね。もう何度も説明したのに。
Sorry, but I was still just a little kid who didn't even know what you meant by scale back then.
そうね。それに思い出した。私それで相馬くんと仲良くなったんだったわ。
相馬くん？シルビー様の古いご友人。市松殿にとってもでしたね。
Yeah. You got close to him thanks to your perfect pitch?
相馬くんもあったのよ。絶対音感。
Huh? Oh, really? Ria had a skill like that? Even so, it was less than surprising due to her usual ambience.
懐かしいな。二人でよく遊んだわ。音階の当てっこしたり、逆に外させっこしたり。絶対音感同士にのみ成立する遊びがあるんだね。二人だけの秘密の信号も決めているのよ。当時楽団派に入ることになって不安だった私がピアノを弾くのを恐れなくなったのは相馬くんのおかげね。
Silvie looked a little lonesome.
相馬くんの方は音感だけでなく耳も良くて、だからよく苦しんでたっけな。
苦しむとは？
絶対音感というのはね、音を脳が勝手に分析してしまって、だから雑踏なんかでも勝手に音を音階分けしてしまうの。だからたまに気分が悪くなるのよ。いろんな音が混ざったり、音の波長が狂ったりすると。
ああ、聞いたことある。雨の日はそれで辛い人多いみたいね。
私はいいの。無視できる程度だから、よっぽど変な音が混ざらない限り平気。でも相馬くんは私より耳がいいし、感覚も鋭敏なのね。よく苦しんでた。定期的に鳴る電子音とか気が狂いそうになるって。
For real? This was news to me.
今もまだ苦しんでるのかしら。なんとかしてあげたいのだけれど。
Sylvie's expression turned unusually meek as she looked to the ground. It went without saying who was on her mind. Silvie really wanted to see Aria again, didn't she? In reality, she was most likely in the next room over at that very moment. The fact I couldn't tell her made me feel immensely guilty.
ま、今でも耳はいいままだな。お隣の会話も丸聞こえなくらい。頭おかしくなりそうなのは一緒だけど。盗み聞きにはちょうどいいから、プラマイゼロだ。な気にするなよ、シルビー。
お腹空いてきた。そろそろご飯にしよっか。そうね。もうペコペコ。
Arena changed the mood. Are you hungry?
食べられないほどではありません。
We'd eaten not too long ago and weren't feeling especially hungry, but we'd better go along with Silvie anyway.
そういや、みんなは昼何食べてきたの？
Sushi.
いいな。私も行きたかった。
Yeah, it was delicious.
シルビーがいるってことは、やっぱ回らない方？
You nailed it.
またも回転を軸に定義していますね。
本場日本ではお寿司は回転するか否かが大事。国に帰ったらみんなに教えてあげましょう。いいなあ、裏山裏タウン。ちなみにおいくらくらいのお寿司？
We had a couple rounds of tuna, which went for a market value of around 8,000 yen for our main course.
はあ？
I've never eaten sushi with a market value attached before.
そこもだけど、何 ?8,000 円って。
They apparently just got in some of the most staggering servings in a couple of years.
それは何？もう寿司じゃなくない？
いえ、寿司でしたが。
美味しかったわ。嘘。私もついていけばよかった。そうね。レーナも呼びたかったわ。
99% of Japanese people don't use high-speed helicopters, so it's rough going all the way to Aomori for a day trip.
ちくしょー。
Now I felt like we'd done something pretty wrong.
で、夜は何食べるの？金箔でももしゃもしゃ食べるわけ？美味しくないわよ、そんなの。
何にしましょうか。行きたいお店があるようでしたら車を出しますが。
もう出歩きたくないわ。ここで食べるものがいい。だそうだよ、オーロ。金箔持ってきて。
I'd love to if I could. Eating here, cup noodles again or something?
それもいいけど。あ、ちょい待ち。
Arena headed outside. Then immediately walked right back in.
これ、期限やばばだから片しちゃいたいんだ。どうせだからここで食べようよ。なにこれ。
She brought with her yakisoba?
一玉18円の時に買い込んだんだけど、いやー、なかなか食べないよね、こういうの。これも借りてきた。
She plopped a hot plate up onto the table. Must have been something the dorm was equipped with given its massive size. We are capping off a day where we went all the way to Aomori for sushi with an 18 yen per package yakisoba party.
いいじゃん、いいじゃん。美味しいよ。いいわね。楽しそうだわ。
I wasn't very eager, but the princess was certainly into it. Il-san would certainly be on board if Silvie was, so it was 3 against 1. Any suggestion I made would be overruled by majority vote. Oh well, let's go for it.
一品だけじゃ飽きるかしら。エル、スープをお願い。
了解しました。
And just like that, we had a yakisoba party for dinner. Elsan headed to the kitchen to make her special request. What about the yakisoba?
もちろん私が作るよ。4割くらいの確率で夕飯が元焼きそばだった焦げになるけどいいよね。
Why would I be? Lena couldn't cook. Silvie was iffy too. I'd be terrified letting her get anywhere near a knife. Guess I'll do it. Lena, grab some cabbage and meat at the convenience store.
うーい。
I sent her off to do the shopping.
オーロが作ってくれるのね。
You know my cooking abilities from the flour dumplings before, right?
あれ美味しかった。
Crude though, I know it's a man's dish, but I guarantee I'll score at least a 65 in flavor.
あ、でも覚えてるオーロ。キャンプの時は芳しい結果にはならなかったわ。
Did it not? If you were to bring up cooking at that camp 10 years ago, she'd have to mean, oh yeah, I was on mess kit duty. I charred the rice to a black and crisp, I believe. I've grown up a lot since then, so don't worry.
期待してる。
By the way, how good of a cook are you, Silvie?
できなくはないと思うのだけど、クッキーやケーキしか作ったことがないわ。
A sweet specialist? Sweets were a degree of difficulty higher than ordinary cooking, so she could probably manage, but I guess it was fine for today. The yakisoba is a man's dish. Stand back and watch.
オーロかっこいい。
Sure I am. Are the ingredients ready yet?
へい大将、持ってきやしたぜ。
Alright. Rena handed over a head of cabbage and one package of pork ribs from the convenience store. First up was the cabbage. I sliced clean through the entire head.
一玉丸々使うの ?4 人分だよ。
The more cabbage, the better.
多すぎても全部食べるから安心して。
That was reassuring. Light the fire.
はいよ。
She switched on the hot plate. I waited for it to heat up. It's probably dumb of me to say this after we turned it on already, but you think the breaker will be okay? Such a massive hot plate certainly seemed like it would consume too much electricity in a dorm setting like this.
ここなら大丈夫だと思うよ。この量、4部屋でブレーカー1つだからさ、1部屋使ってないわけだし。
Ah, guess we'll be fine then. My room was at the end of the hall, so the full set of 4 should include Ria next door, Mina-chan across the hall, and the vacant room diagonally across. Mina-chan didn't use many appliances, and Ria was constantly lazing around in bed. One of the rooms didn't even use its lights, which meant that we were probably in the clear. And while we were lost in conversation, the plate had heated up. Alright.
いい音。
First was the pork, then the cabbage, and they continued to cook. And this is the perfect timing to add the sauce.
早くない？
Just a little, but you can put a larger helping of sauce on the cabbage later if you do it now. Next to the noodles and then the rest of the sauce.
スープできました。
We are all set on our end too. I turned off the flame. Dish complete. Ichimatsu Oro's specially made yakisoba.
おいしそう。腹減った。早く食べよう。
Yeah. The 4 of us sat down for a meal together.
いただきます。
And away we ate. Incidentally, as for how it turned out,
おいしい。ほんとすごいよこれ、プロ級。とてもおいしいわ。ありがとう、エル。
恐縮です。
なんだっけこのスープ、ミネストローネ？
this is seriously tasty. The minestrone Elsan brought out was so good, you'd never think she put it together in so short a time. I was actually a little moved by it. I should have asked sooner, but you are a really good cook, aren't you?
大したことはありません。簡易食だけです。ただ、慣れていることは慣れていますね。行軍訓練における娯楽は食事だけですので。
Haha, maybe I should have left the whole meal to you. Oh, the yakisoba? It kinda tasted like sauce. It appeared the minestrone had stolen the show and taken its place as the main dish, thus demoting the saucy yakisoba as its side dish. It made for a questionably disorganized meal. But it was delicious.